Yo, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to knock this out because I'm fired up because I was fired up on Sunday night.
Hey man,
I
I
was
will
pretty fired
say
up Sunday
this.
night. I'm not through. That was just part one.
Oh,
That
come on, man.
was just part one. We're gonna go talk part two and part three.
I feel you on that. I
Yeah,
feel
I
you on
mean
that. Good evening,
it's and I'm
everybody.
gonna
Welcome
invite.
to.
Of course, I'm gonna invite every local candidate that's uh, running off for office in this
Uh-huh.
election in May. I'm going to invite them all. Now it's up to them to accept my invitation.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to be prejudiced about it. I, I want to make sure that everybody have an opportunity to showcase themselves and show us what their interests are. And I don't want no hot air and no smoke. I want the real deal. I want the real deal.
Hey
So
man, that's gonna intimidate people already. So stop
that's all
playing.
right. That's all right. They want to come and play. You want to play? Let's let's get started.
Hey man,
I want starters. I want starters.
I will say welcome to everybody. Thank y'all for tuning in and listening to the Knowledge is Power podcast, hosting the Roundtable Talk with me and my group. Of course, you know me. I'm Unc. I'm Christopher Jones. I have our illustrious, illustrious Dr. Campbell, of course, at the table with us, and we have our guest. Um, Host with us again this evening. Thanks again for tuning in and joining us, Dustin. And you know we got our big host that's actually putting it on all on, Tony Renfro.
I'm right here.
Man,
I'm right
I
here.
want to
I'm right
say
here.
this.
I'm right here with y'all tonight. I'm
I
right here.
appreciate that, brother. I
I'm right here
definitely
with you
want to
tonight.
say this.
I don't know how
Um,
long, but I'm gonna be here. We
I
got a
want
lot of
to.
talk. We got a lot to talk about. We really got a
We
lot to
do.
talk
We
about.
do. I want to offer our condolences to our other co-host, Perry Busby, as he has lost a family member. Family member has transitioned from this life to the next, and we want them to know that they are in our prayers and have our deepest sympathies and condolences, and hope that our listeners and viewers will render the same. Um, Outside of that, I do have a very hot show. I was looking to see if we could if we could sort of kind of recap on Tony's show from Sunday night. I'm not sure if you all um, viewed his show. One man stand, and he was a whole one man band, I promise. And he delivered some very good nuggets, not only for our communities, but for the candidates. And if they were not paying attention on Sunday, today would be a very good day because at the roundtable talk, we'll definitely be addressing, um, certain issues that we have identified throughout the week. And so, one of the subject topics is how they join and infiltrate to sabotage. Me and Miss Cat was talking about this a little bit last week also, and we definitely wanted to bring this back to this conversation to our listeners and viewers to get a pass the plate around, and see what our ideas are about how individuals, some of them, will join your organization, join your church, just join, whether they're in leadership positions or not, they will join solely to dismantle what it is that you have going on. And so, um, a little bit, Miss Cat, if you could give us a taste of it.
You know what, Chris? I was like, where did he get this topic from? I'm not even gonna lie to you, okay? But I did once you put it on there, I said, well, let me think about this. How do individuals infiltrate? Okay, I'll start there. they go in and they start to gather intelligence. They try to uh research their target carefully. You know, they uh they find out who the key players are. They find out their potential weak points. You know, they go on and they troll the social networks and stuff, right? So they start with intelligence gathering, right? And then they come in and they start to blend in, right?
Mm-hmm.
They learn the culture and the language of the of a group or an individual, right?
Mm-hmm.
They study their behaviors, and then they also avoid drawing attention to themselves while they're blending in, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Thereby they're gradually building trust, infiltrating, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah. Then they find out, who's not happy in the camp.
Come on, Miss Cat. Come
Yeah,
on, Miss Cat.
yeah. I forgot about that conversation, but you sure brought it back today, huh?
I told you. I told you. I told you. We had a good one today. We had a good one today, and
Yes.
I knew I threw the listeners and the viewers off just by that subject topic alone, right? Because
Infiltration and dismantling. Yes, let's kill it.
yes, because this is something that we're seeing in our communities across the board, right? Especially for individuals that have a a servant leader's heart, right? And of course there are those that identify, like you said, Miss Cat, oh, he have a servant leader's heart, but her back there don't like him, so let me be friends with her back there, or let me be friends with him up here because I heard him I seen him side eyeing some of the things that was said, or perched his lip, just like you said. They infiltrate, they read, they gain intelligence, and then they dismantle. And the
That's what
reason
they
I
do.
the reason
So,
I really brought this topic up, Miss Cat, is because some of our groups in our local communities, right, have been infiltrated.
mm,
And some of those individuals that have infiltrated our groups are solely seeking to dismantle from the root. That means kill it, right?
that's what they're doing. Yes, they're
Kill it.
exploiting weaknesses. Yes, they're identifying vulnerabilities in the leadership. Yeah.
Okay, well
Absolutely.
let's get deep into it. That you brought me to the surface with it, so let's dive into it. You're talking about infiltrate and dismantle. I want to grab on something in there. Give me some sources. Give me some resources out of this. Let's dig deep. Let's
So
dig deep. Let's come on
one
with it now. We
one
talking
of one
business
of the
now. We
conversations,
talk.
absolutely.
All
This
right,
the
let's
round
get.
table talk.
I
And
want to know.
so, one of
Because
the
but let's
topics.
say this. Let me say this. I want to know because maybe somebody that's listening or watching want to know too. We want to know a little bit more of this dismantling and infrastructure. Who are doing this? What
Well,
group are doing this? What
You
society
so
group is doing
messy,
this?
Tony.
I'm not being
he
messy. I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking questions. I just want to know. I want to know so that I would know and they
I
would know.
do believe the point is of this topic is so that we will know. I
identify
don't
it.
believe that we're going to point fingers. That's really not
I didn't
kosher,
ask for no finger.
Tony.
I didn't ask for no finger point. I want to know
Well,
what y'all
I
talking
think
about. I don't know what
I
y'all talking about.
well, see, that's because you should have been on the conversation after last Tuesday after the show,
Let's see, y'all had a meeting after the
after the
meeting.
After
meeting.
the
You
meeting.
already know, man. Dustin, give me your concept or give me your thought about this particular topic. See if we can pull Tony up just a little bit more.
I know, right?
See,
Does he
my
agree with
whole thing is it's been basically going on since, sure, you could say slavery. It's basically a mind game.
Come on. Come
They
on.
get you because this one thing. Black people are always a welcoming, warm, bring anybody in. That's just who we are. So it's not always a good thing, but that's just who we be. So sometimes people come in with good intentions. Sometimes they come in just to see what a weak links are.
Just to see.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
Especially once they get into, like y'all said, they play the roles so well, and then they get into a position of power or authority within these groups and organizations, and then you start noticing how they maneuver differently, right? They maneuver in an obstructive manner. They maneuver in a way that um, discredits or distance individuals who have the real true heart for this particular whatever it is, right? And
That's
so
right.
when we notice those individuals, are we supposed to tap them on the shoulder and say, hey, I notice what it is that you're doing, and my recommendation is for you to stop, or I'm gonna have to pull you out in front of the whole group and call you out.
now I'll go and call them out in the first place. Ain't no need to tap them. I've always been a where the disrespect happen is where the solution happens.
You're right,
Hey,
Dustin.
I'm definitely an 80s baby raised to where you act a fool, I'ma tell your tale where you act a fool.
So ain't no need to pull them to the side, let them know, call
Because
them
they're
out,
grown.
and make them defend themselves.
They know what
Hmm.
they did.
Yes, yes, I totally agree. I totally agree. So my now statement to our listeners and viewers and Tony is to identify these crooked individuals as they are. Watch them just as hard as they watching you. It's just like military service for me. Recon and counter recon. Find out and counter what you found out, right?
uh-huh.
That
And form
way.
your alliances carefully.
Oh, I was just about to say that, Miss Cat.
Why you
That
didn't say
way,
it? Why you didn't say
pussy,
it?
cut me out. Because that way, when you build your alliance or you identify the strengths in your groups and those individuals, you're building the strengths, and the weaknesses are eventually going to fade. Those people are not going to fall for the okey doke of whoever it is that's dressed like a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what a lot of our groups and organizations, including communities, just like Dustin said, that's a Sambo mindset, right? That is definitely a Sambo mindset for you to come into, especially a black individual to come into a black group and dismantle that entire black group, or try to dismantle that entire black group. What you got to say, Tony?
I don't have anything to say. I'm learning. I'm learning. Since y'all gonna have
Look,
another podcast, since y'all gonna have another podcast after the podcast, so I
oh
just
no,
want to know
see,
what y'all going on. Y'all gonna have a meeting after the meeting. Hey, listen. You know what? I tell you what you can tell me. I understand what you're saying. I tell you what you can tell me. Not to get
absolutely.
off the subject, but what happened today at the Beaumont City Council meeting?
I'm not sure. I was in travel.
Who's what?
Dustin,
Dustin,
now.
go
Dustin,
Come
on,
on,
tell us
Dustin.
about what went
go
on and
ahead,
what
Dustin.
happened, and I need to know.
They
I
did what
just
they should have been did. How
I was
about
on
that?
I was on the road traveling today, and so I didn't get a chance to go there. But what happened, Dustin?
Well, it was several things
I
going
understand.
on.
I know. But tell me the good part. Tell me the good part. I want to go to the good part. Don't give me
Well,
all of the.
the
All
I
of the
want the good
the
good,
part.
main
good, good.
event,
The main event. I want to know what happened to Tom Flanagan.
the main event is Flanagan showed up. He was on the agenda. He wasn't even really supposed to be on the agenda until I think 2 weeks from now.
Hmm.
But I guess he tried to preempt a strike or something. So he showed up. He had his engineer with him. They up there talking all this yin yang, trying to I guess delay. Cause I guess
That's a
there was a
game.
water
That's a
main
game.
break somewhere near the building. So they try to use that as an excuse why something wasn't shored up, security wasn't tight around the building. He started blaming the city for his building not being secure and safe. And city council, I mean, outside of Aldwin ignoring him completely the whole time, I think he made every city council member, even the mayor, up there pissed off.
No, come on. He pissed off the whole council. I
The
bet he
whole
didn't.
council.
I guess he. I bet it was maybe one of them that was not pissed.
Now here's the thing: he almost had Pastor Cuss seem like.
You muted. You muted. Your mic is muted.
What'd you say, Dustin?
I said it seemed like he almost had Pastor cussing up there. They were so mad going back and forth with each other.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch this. Ooh.
Oh, it's on the page.
So they
I
made.
shared it.
So they made. They voted 4-2 or
Nah, I thought it was only
5-1.
5-1.
voted no.
Only gets voted against tearing it down.
But even he was mad at one point.
It was coming down. You know,
That's all right. He still didn't want to tear it
that
down.
was a 13. That was 13 months delay since the
I kind of
fire.
understand where
He
Mike
wasn't gonna
was
do
in the
anything.
reservation.
He wasn't gonna do anything with that building.
Of course. I mean, like we saw
don't do
that
anything with
when
none of the buildings.
before the building burned, right?
You know, but you got to
I mean,
remember
but
now. You got to remember now. You know, he in a couple of pockets on the council now.
see, now you being messy.
No, I'm not being messy. I'm telling you like it is. I'm not just being messy.
Let's say he's allegedly. Let's say he's allegedly in their pockets. Let's
Okay,
say, keep
allegedly,
it
yeah, okay.
clean.
Allegedly,
Oh
he's
yeah,
in their
we're
pocket.
alleged.
I
Okay,
think that's
we're
the more formal
alleged.
way to say that.
Yes, and
Okay.
air quotes, Tony. You got to do the air quotes.
Air quote, okay.
Allegedly.
Okay. But I will tell you what, it's about time. I bet if it would have been me,
You
or
would have been torn
anybody
yeah.
down
else
right
that
after
looked
the
like me,
fire.
I was about to say
my building would have been torn down a week after the fire. Matter of fact, they
your
were torn
building
down the night after the fire.
your building
Matter
wouldn't
of
have
fact,
even
they were
caught on
torn
fire. How
down the
about that?
night they were putting out the fire.
I know buildings, historic buildings that never caught on fire that were torn down. So it wouldn't even have to catch on fire
Who
because
put the building on fire? How you gonna be the
isn't that
fire?
understood? Isn't that still under investigation?
How you gonna be the arsonist? What I said? How you gonna be the
Arsonist.
and the
Arsonist.
fireman at the same time?
Well, if the building get knocked down, the investigation over.
Yeah, the investigation over. But what about the other buildings?
They supposed to be rebuilding.
Don't say
it.
that. Did you catch that,
They
Miss
talking about they
Candy?
want to do something about downtown.
I heard him. I'm trying to let it go.
They don't want to talk about. They want to do something about
Trying to let it
downtown.
go.
Downtown. Hell, he owns majority of those ragged ass buildings downtown right now that he ain't doing
That's
nothing with.
facts. That's facts. That's facts.
Facts.
All right. So how you gonna do something downtown?
Well,
He
I
won't
mean,
sell them. He hold on. He ain't nothing but a doggone holder.
well,
Whatever
I
they call
mean,
y'all, holder,
a
whatever.
hoarder.
A
Hoarder.
holder. He a holder. A holder.
A hoarder.
He a building hole.
Man. Well, I mean, we all know that Mr. Flanagan has properties all over the state of
wait a
Texas.
minute. I know this is
right?
your show, girl. I get a good big shout out to my girl, my accountability person who helped me lose all this weight. We would exercise. We would walk and exercise every day. She was my accountability, keep me in line. Miss, I want to give her a happy belated birthday, Miss D. Holden. D, I'm gonna be at your party, baby. I hope it ain't a surprise party next Saturday.
Come on, happy birthday in the month of March. Congratulations
let's
to us as March babies.
Let's get back to downtown Beaumont. Now, what now?
And happy birthday to our host.
Oh yeah, happy birthday to the host, Chris Jones. I mean, hey, wait a minute. I'm sorry, man. This is your show. I'm sorry. You go ahead on.
No, but we
You got
still want to
right.
know what happened downtown. But like I was saying, we know that Mr. Flanagan has a lot of buildings in the city of Beaumont and Southwest Louisiana and Southeast Texas. Okay,
Right,
we know this,
right.
but the thing for us is him holding on to these vacant buildings without trying to do
Exactly.
something with them, right?
Exactly.
Without trying to bring some type of development or encourage s- a a hotel or
Exactly.
something of that nature to come in, renovate your property and whatever,
He's a
that
slumlord.
I agree to that too.
I see why you say that, and I will concur. I have to concur because the amount of buildings that you have, whether they have tenants in them or not, they hold a significant place in the hearts of many residents here in the city of Beaumont, which is why I believe Mike Getz was trying to save the historic Gilbert building. But at what cost? You know what I'm saying?
If it's so
Where is
historic,
it?
how it get rolled down?
Well, I mean, they said there was water in the basement that they tried to pump out, but wasn't sure if once they pump all the water out, then the building may collapse or whatever the case may be.
So the water holding it up.
Make that make sense.
Come on, man.
That's it, man. The water was
I'm not an engineer though.
I'm not. I promise I'm not. At least
Neither
not a
was the dude
structural
standing next
engineer.
to him at the meeting.
So what do y'all recommend that the city do? Buy the
Turned into
building
a
from
parking
him?
lot.
And what you gonna bring
No,
there?
no, make him responsible for paying the cost of having it torn down.
Oh,
I
that's what they
mean,
said. 'Cause they said if he don't pay the city the money it costs to knock that building down, they're gonna put a lien on the rest of his properties.
and that's exactly what they should do.
Well,
Because if it was me or you, they would do the exact same thing. So he's subject to the same treatment. He bleed red just like the rest of us.
maybe he
This is
didn't have any,
facts.
maybe he didn't have the insurance on him.
Matters the difference. Obviously, he did
Hmm.
not.
You believe
Insurance,
that this man
security.
have all those he have all those spaces and he don't have a insurance on them?
If he had
The
insurance
insurance by
on them,
itself,
Chris,
All
go
right,
ahead.
let's say that the man got money.
Yep.
That
All
part.
right,
if
the
the
man,
insurance was
obviously,
in
the man got
place,
money.
the buildings would have been repaired
His daddy
properly.
had money, and so,
Well, I mean,
but he
kind of
should
brings
have.
us back to the same space of
He was,
this brings us back
he
to
was
the
should.
same topic of infiltration and dismantling. So, like you said, Tony, who pocket is he in? Two, um, what cost is this gonna what cost is it gonna inflict on the citizens? Three, what is your plan for the property?
Right, but besides
Um,
sitting on it,
Let
besides
me
sitting
see
on
what
it,
this
I mean,
little
you could be.
ugly
He
Well,
could
building
have
that
been.
is.
He
that
could
was
have
a
been
part.
putting. He could have been putting other people in business with those buildings.
That was a
You know,
part of the first holdup. That when they said they were going to give him some time, they said that they were going to allow him time and opportunity to repair the buildings. And when he had not gotten as far as he should have been by the time they reconvened, then that's when they gave him more time to fix the
yeah,
building. And he
yeah.
still did not meet the requirements. Therefore, whatever is the cost is now for
Hmm.
him to tear the building down,
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
that's the only option now. Whatever the cost is, he needs to be responsible for that, And just like Dustin said, if he doesn't, if he isn't responsible for it, the lien should be on the rest of his properties, and he'll lose them all. But I bet he's gonna come up with that insurance money then, huh? If it was some.
Hmm.
Well, that's what I want to know. Did the insurance pay out for the burned building, or is that still under investigation as arson by
Because
Well,
by him
I can tell you now, the
or
moment they
whoever?
said arson, the insurance company stopped that check.
Correct.
well, I wonder why. I wonder who who was the arsonist. Who put the buildings on fire? Matter of fact, I want to
Well,
know.
well, we
I,
don't
I,
Tony,
know,
none of
Tony,
us
because
were
you
the
know it was
cause of
three
all.
I don't
buildings on
know,
fire at the same
but
time.
it seems odd that every building that burned downtown or in the area is one of his buildings.
With the exception of the Carolyn Gilbert Hinchy house, that also was a scene of arson
That's
on the
right.
same day
That's right. Of his
of the building and
rich,
the storage building.
right?
Was it arson or potential arson? Because it never did get set aflame, right?
All right. Well,
Well,
tell me this. What
well,
about what
the
about the
report is the way the fire chief wrote it out. I'm sorry, the chief inspector wrote it out was that it's arson, whether it consumed or not, it still damaged the property, and that has to be communicated
Mhm.
So therefore,
and
there's no
documented.
insurance.
Mm-mm.
N-
Well, I don't know.
Not that's going to
Allegedly,
pay out for
like you
arson,
like that.
especially being that he is a prime suspect for it. It'd
Like
be different if you weren't a prime suspect for it.
well, like you said, allegedly.
Unless he got
Allegedly, he didn't
arson
have
insurance.
insurance. Okay, well, let me ask you another question. What about the Texas Workforce Building? Did he plan on doing anything with that? It's been
Well,
sitting
you
there.
know that caught on fire too a while
Oh,
back.
that's fine. That's all I know. That's what I know.
Let's smoke it about when you need them.
Only you could prevent building fires.
Downtown Beaumont. Y'all, boy, I tell y'all something, boy.
Y'all silly, man. Y'all silly. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So, I mean, that's what we have to deal with, right? So, I mean, like, even if, okay, so, like, my question is now, if he defaults further and the city acquires these buildings and spaces, um, what they gonna do with them?
All I'm saying, I'm looking at the location of the Gilbert building. That would make
Mm-hmm.
a nice parking lot for Arlene Street,
Why you
for
all this parking
Jefferson
lot? There ain't that many
Theater.
people downtown.
Now, when they had the Ali Sadiq comedy show, man, parking was so bad down there.
But how many times you have a show like that's
You
gonna
can
have so
have them
many
a
people
lot more if you got
downtown
somewhere to
one
park.
time? Huh? Shit,
Was that
Wow.
show at the Jefferson Theater?
Yes, ma'am.
it don't have any parking. But you got to remember,
And and
but you got to
the
remember
tiered
when they built
parking.
you got to remember when they built the Jefferson Theater.
They was on horses.
Yeah, they didn't have cars. They didn't have a bunch of cars then. No shit,
Right, right,
So they didn't know nothing about parking lots.
But let it be a
right.
historic parking lot now.
Okay.
Oh, but what about the elevated parking that's at the rear of the building? That's not accessible to the Jefferson?
I don't
I
think
don't
so.
know anything about
Mm,
that.
Because most
mm,
people
mm.
either park along the street or they park.
You
I
got
believe
something in your
at the
background,
museum.
Justin. You got something in your background. Yeah. See, you got that old microphone from Dollar Tree. See, I got an
Don't
echo.
do I don't
Somebody,
do my boy like that.
I think somebody mic is open. Got another phone volume down because I'm sounding
All right,
that.
mute it. Mute
All right,
yourself, Dustin.
all right, Dustin, you mute yours.
I've been muted the whole time.
Cat, you
Okay.
mute yours. Okay, that's Cat. It got to be Cat. Dustin, turn your mic on.
Yeah,
What up?
Okay, turn your mic on.
yeah, that's me.
What? That's you. That's you. You the culprit. Come on, cat. Turn your mic off. You turn your mic off. With that.
What are you hearing? Are you hearing music or
No, I'm
something?
hearing
No, it's feedback. It's
feedback.
feedback.
I'm hearing feedback. It's coming from Chris, the host. The host know better than anybody to have feedback. He got feedback. It must
I'm
be
sorry,
your
sir. My mic was
headset.
muted just the entire time. That's not me.
Anyway,
That
guys,
wasn't me.
I don't know what y'all doing. This your show anyway. Go ahead. Let's go about the okay. Let's go talk about the DOJ drop charges on the big car company. What happened?
Absolutely. I'm so glad you mentioned that. So like the DOJ, Trump's DOJ, let's say Trump's DOJ, has released the lawsuit that many
No. You
residents.
sounding real bad. You sounding real bad. Very all this reverb is echoing.
All right, well then everybody mute until I finish, and then we'll come back one at a time. So like the DOJ has dismissed a lawsuit that was happening in Louisiana from members of a community in Louisiana that is similar to what we may have within Southeast Texas, which is a community adjacent to or fence line community of a chemical plant or a plant, period. And so they were going through the process of litigation on the federal level. Um, I want to say this has been going on since 2016, might I add, and maybe even 15. Um, but
Are you talking
this
about the
community,
are you talking about the refinery south of Baton Rouge?
yes, sir.
All right, okay, go ahead. I'm with you now.
Yes, sir.
Good.
And so this community noticed within their children that their children that was less than a mile away from the plant started to get sick, right? And so the federal government actually came in and closed the school. Um, and then created the lawsuit and all of the class action lawsuit and all of the residents and students that were participants in the school were a part of this lawsuit. And
Mm-hmm.
then, mind you, um, after the 4547 took office and his DOJ was appointed, that was one of the first things that they targeted was this lawsuit that many and along the entire Gulf Coast, Houstonians included, from we could say from New Orleans to Houston, and I think we had this conversation a while before, but many of those communities are fence line communities to some type of plant, right? Whether it's ammonia, whether it's petrochem, regardless, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so seeing this department of this DOJ dropping this lawsuit. Now, let me tell y'all why they dropped this lawsuit. They dropped this lawsuit because it gives them a sense of DEI. Not because it's wrongful litigation, not because some falsified narratives or that's not the case. They dropped this case because to them, they said it sounds like DEI. So, my question to us that live in like communities or similar communities, right? What would you do if this current federal government closes shop for not one, but two schools that are within or less than a mile away, and maybe even three schools less than a mile away from a petrochemical plant? And this DOJ throws out our class action lawsuit after long time coming.
So what did you expect to happen? What did you, is it a surprise because you got an idiot for president? You got the evilness and disgracefulness of a human being that they would do this, even though it has harmed so many people in that neighborhood or that community by having that plant that is called chemical damage to their bodies, has caused cancer, have caused so many diseases that happen to these people that lived in this. I've been following up on the same show you're talking. Wait a minute, somebody open their mic. Reverb
I
in it.
opened my mic.
It must be
So
yours.
is it me?
I think it is you. You got something on
But
volume.
I want to back
Now
you
you
up
go.
while we're
Now
right
you
here,
go.
Tony.
Now
If
you
you
go.
will, please call him
Okay.
what he is. He a felon.
Yeah,
So
it is
can
a
you
felon.
expect
Let's
anything
not forget
less?
that. No, let's not forget that he is a criminal, convicted felon. Let's not forget that, people. Let's not forget that.
So he's going to eliminate the consequences for big oil. Why wouldn't he? He's a felon. You
He's a felon.
cannot expect anything more from him than that.
Hmm.
So now they don't have any consequences for any type of wrongdoings environmentally,
Right,
fraudulently, or price fixing.
right.
Okay, I'm
Absolutely.
gonna
Absolutely.
shut my mic down
No,
since
no,
I
no,
want
no,
me to
no,
shut
no, no.
down because I got a whole lot more.
You go ahead on. You can doing just fine.
And then, if he could, with him shutting all that down, it's gonna set a precedent for others for leniency.
Hmm.
So it's gonna potentially, get worse, right?
Right. It's just the being so evil, you
I'm
know.
looking
And
at
regulatories will be non-existent rather, you know,
Hmm.
where they're burning all that stuff
Right,
and releasing it into the atmosphere.
right, right.
They won't have
It's killing
a
babies.
limit.
It's killing babies. It's
Killing
killing
babies.
people. Yes.
Right,
and
right.
the unborn.
Hmm. We lived in a neighborhood, grew up in a neighborhood that had a chemical plant here, and we had schools in those plants, and we lived in that area right next to it. And we always said, "Boy, I wish it would be the same the way it was." But it was a blessing that a lot of us was able to upgrade and move out of the neighborhood, except but you know, until they had until EPA came in and made them regulated them. But back then they didn't have regulators. We just we just thought we were living. But this imagine all the chemicals in the air that we breathe on it. Um, and that is something.
You're gonna have a lot of environmental and public health
That's
consequences.
right. That's right. That's right.
There's no criminal accountability.
That's right. None,
Loss of
none
life.
whatsoever.
You're gonna have a whole lot more civil suits.
Right. But who's doing this?
Who's doing what?
4547.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And so, and, and
4547.
again, you can't expect any less
Thank you.
because he's a felon.
He's a felon. He
And
is.
even among that, like I mentioned, the likeness of our communities, right? Here from New Orleans to Houston, um, resemble the same. And if I live in Beaumont and my emissions here in Beaumont affects individuals in Houston or Newton or Orange, then I- you- how is this possible, y'all? Huh? How is this possible? How is it possible that, and this is again, this is the DOJ under a new administration just for sake of lawsuit or class action lawsuit. And then on top of that, y'all,
There you go.
the regulations that were put in place
Or no more.
and completely out of the window.
Mhm.
TCEQ, which is our environmental agent, they, they've lost their power because they're funded also. They are part of the EPA.
Mhm.
So, what can we expect, or what should we expect from our industries, especially being that we have residents or neighbors in our area who is currently undergoing possible litigation that live in Diamond D Ranch.
Okay, mic is on. Okay, complete. Go ahead, Mike. I mean, Chris.
Yeah, so that's just the one of the questions. I mean, our neighbors are currently dealing with a like situation where their private property and or investments have been skewed based on, you know, the I can't, the HOA, from what I'm hearing, the homeowners association, manager or someone behind the scenes is actually undermining residents by offering a lease on their properties or under their properties for carbon capture. And I'm not sure if we all are aware on this show and our listeners and viewers, but Beaumont, Texas is poised to be the next hub for carbon capture. Residents in Cheek, um, and like I said, Nome even have concerns about it. Um, I have concerns about it because one, it's an experimental process. Two, there's no guarantee that my drinking water, which is under the ground, will not be affected. There's no guarantee that whatever you're putting in the ground is going to stay there. Um, I'm looking at sinkholes almost every other day in our streets and in some residential yards. So, what should we do? What should we expect? Should we address our city government about this?
Uh, let's see. My mic is my mic open. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Would it be fruitful? Would they know anything concerning that?
Oh, they know.
I would think it would be. Let me just say it like this. I still think y'all letting ExxonMobil get by.
Say it again.
I think that you guys are letting the South End community, the Charlton Pollock community, is letting, just because ExxonMobil is donating and supporting and being behind you guys for this
Donating who?
to put out
Supporting
to
who?
Charlton Pollock community.
Where? How? Where?
Oh, I was assume
Well, look, let me say
initially
this.
I would think they were. I mean, I
Let me
see
say this.
Charlton Pollock, I see ExxonMobil donating and supporting this and that.
ExxonMobil gave to the city of Beaumont for the park. That's not the South End.
Well, let me just say this.
ExxonMobil gave $100,000 to Southeast Texas Regional Planning Commission.
I
That's
think
not the South End.
ExxonMobil should be compensating the residents of the South End. Charlton Pilot community?
I feel
Tony, our
I feel
community is not that big. They should
ExxonMobil.
be compensating everybody if you're gonna go there.
I
Beg
was just
pardon?
about to say,
Beg pardon?
Our community is really not that big. They should be compensating everybody if you really want to go there.
Oh yeah, compensate me too. I lived
my
there one time.
Cut the check.
Yeah, cut me a check. I mean,
I mean,
but the reason why they're doing that because they know what they have done.
look, let me tell you something. Our government, our city government, voted to decrease property taxes in the South End by itself. I'm sorry, decrease property value in the South End by itself. That didn't happen across the city, right? That happened in the South End solely to decrease property values. Mind you, the South End is the only place in the city that can acquire international trade tax dollars because you're adjacent to a port. Mind you, the South End is also the only place that has everybody's history, every root, white, black, Asian, Italian, it would not matter, started in the South End. And to know that our government, city government, can regulate and haven't. Now, my question is, how much money are they getting? Since y'all want to ask how much money the Mr. Flanagan and put in their pie shake, how much money they get?
Well,
Why
they
you
do
think?
have
Outside,
some nice
and I'm
suits up
talking
there.
about outside of the $100,000 that was given to given by ExxonMobil to the park or to Southeast Texas Regional Planning Commission. No money came from ExxonMobil and given directly to the neighborhood association or residents.
Now,
And
who
now,
problem is that? Who the problem? Who problem is that?
ours,
It should have been what?
ours.
And that
Okay.
Aldwin's
So why
Ward,
didn't you why haven't the Charlton Poly community leaders has stepped up to that to ask
The
them, hey, listen, we know what you're doing. We know what you
the
have done in the past
the Charlton
50,
Pilot
60
community
years in the
leaders. Let
South
me tell
End.
you something. The Charlton Pilot community leaders in what the 90s came in with the EPA. You know how many people got paid under the table that everybody did not get paid? So the monies that was supposed to be distributed to residents went into some special interest and or some special people's pockets, not the people's pockets.
Are you saying this? Are you if this allegedly this happened?
ain't no alleged no more. We done seen
I
people
was
move
about to
out.
say, I was about to say there is
Listen,
no alleged.
listen.
Even when they moved those people that were at the fence line of ExxonMobil, they were falsely or undercompensated for even moving. Mind you, these people were homesteaders, right?
That's right. That's
There
right.
is no way, shape, form, and or fashion you can uproot yourself and take your homestead exemptions with you. Mind you, also attached to that property was their Medicare. You cannot take that with you. You have forfeited that. Also, what you cannot take with you is your exemption from paying taxes at that space. One, ExxonMobil and the EPA and TCEQ undermined people because they assumed a lot of people didn't have an idea of what was going on.
Exactly.
Now you have people who are like myself who saw these things happen and nothing take place as far as retribution
That's what I
or
wanted.
contributions.
That's what I want to get out of you. That's what I wanted to get out. I want to.
But but wait, where you gonna put the Port of Beaumont?
They didn't say.
'Cause I
They did
want
the
you to
same
say it.
thing. They did the
I
same
want you to
thing.
say it.
They
Yes,
did the
sir, they
same
did.
thing.
But get this, y'all. The Port of Beaumont is a government entity. So the
Right.
city of Beaumont laid in bed with the Port of Beaumont to eradicate all of the historic South End.
That's right.
And there you have it.
That's
And
right.
there you have it. And there are some current individuals who play in our face as if, oh, I went here and grabbed money, or I went there and grabbed money, and the entire time was the eradication of your homestead.
That's right.
Look at the buyouts that came out under after Harvey and Imelda. You know how
Mhm.
many people were underpaid for a buyout, especially in the North End. Mind you, we heard from Becky Ames in 2017 that, oh, the city of Beaumont always wanted to get back to the river. Who lives at the river? Well, who was living at the river? So it's not just the South End. And it's not just industry, it's your government laying in bed and playing in our face.
Hey,
Infiltrating and dismantling. I
Ain't
didn't
it,
mean to knock you out.
all
ain't
right,
it
let's go
strange
to
how all of that's happening in the same ward?
wait. Chris, turn your mic off. It's your mic. Gotta be your mic. Turn your mic off. Turn it, mute it. Yep, there we go. That's the culprit right there. I knew that was the culprit with all that echo and all that with that old Mickey Mouse mic. I'm gonna buy you a mic. Amazon gonna have it in prime time and send it to you.
Hey
But
man,
anyway,
don't do my boy.
listen, man. Let's go to the next phase here. Yeah, Exxon Mobil. Lillian Brown is on your comment. I'm gonna let you go read it. You can see it on the screen.
Good evening, Queen. Miss Lillian Brown, thanks for viewing and watching. Her comment is ExxonMobil bought our property on Doucet and gave money and gave good money. Okay, that's
Far the
probably
few. That's far the few.
I was about to say, that's probably because I know the Browns were at the table, right? But there were so many other individuals that were at the table that were supposed to disseminate that information so that
They was not.
all
They
of
was not
our neighbors could
educated.
get paid good.
That's right. They wasn't educated on what's going on and what they were supposed to get, what was due to them.
Exactly, exactly. And
Mhm.
it's that conversation is still in the community about how, oh yeah, you lived up the block from me. Yes, and yeah, you was in the buffer zone, Miss Lillian. She was in the buffer zone
Yeah,
on
I
the other
know.
side of Carroll Street,
I
and
know.
so yeah, it not everybody got that.
No.
And then again, like I said, if that was a senior who was there, they lost their state Medicaid. They
Really?
lost it. Yeah,
Got to reapply.
Because they
yeah,
bought
your property.
property, your home.
All that's tied to
Who put that?
your
Who,
state benefits. That's
who put
tied to
that?
your state benefits.
Who put that in stipulations?
The
Who
dude in
put
the
those
That
wheelchair.
stipulations
is
in?
no, that was long before I almost called that man out his name. That's long before the man in the wheelchair. Um, yeah, that's how that goes. When you move, especially if you are a retired individual, your state earned benefits and some entitlements that's tied to your property is no longer for you.
Hmm.
That's no longer for you. You can no longer pass down what you consider um, a homestead, or you can't get, the benefits that you were supposed to. And mind you, how many people that were living there that then were moved, and if they were compensated finally to move, are they still being compensated? Because now they're they're paying a different tax because they're in a different tax bracket, because they're in a different tax section of the city. And mind you, again, if you do have property in Beaumont, I don't know if y'all paying attention, most of your population has already gone. Most of our population is leaving. So guess what that does to the value of your property?
You don't have no more.
When businesses start leaving, guess what happens to the value in your property? When industry
Decrease.
starts
It
to
decreased.
grow,
Yeah,
when industry grows, your property value decreases.
that's right.
So that's not something that's only happening in the South End. That's something that's happening in Beaumont. And if we, as residents of Beaumont, don't mandate our local government and our county government and our state government to regulate our space, then we are definitely, especially because the 4547 said, um, we're going to leave this to the states. We're going to leave all this to the states, which is one of the reasons he said he rolling these regulations, federal regulations, so that the states can regulate. So if we're not at the table in this particular situation, we are poisoned.
Exactly.
On the menu.
Exactly. Exactly.
Let's go back to some more comments. In fact, the house on Lincoln. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Yeah, yeah, yep. So I'm just saying that we need to pay attention to what's going on in St. Joseph Parish, Louisiana, and at least start looking for and or sharing best practices so that we can, in our own space, mitigate what is to come. Now, mind you, according to data, ExxonMobil does not emit as much as what happens in Port Arthur. I'm not a scientist. I don't know. I don't have a barometer to read that. I don't have, I don't have all those. Yeah, but that's what's going on. How are we going to buffer ourselves from the same situation we seeing taking place in Louisiana?
Y'all there with me?
Suggestions? Where did our host go?
Your host left you? I'm working on something.
I'm here. I was doing a little.
Did your
I do
host
apologize. I was looking something up. Yeah, I'm
Mm-hmm.
here. What you talking about? I was looking something up. Dustin, what you laughing at?
Well, to keep we gonna have to be on whoever get elected next
So now what y'all
because
talking about now?
they've been spending so long not holding the plants accountable to what's going on in the city anyway.
The council is always so busy giving them abatements to bring them here, but they should make them match the abatement in the community. You know, um, am I right?
Yeah. I mean, the schools should all be better. The parks should
Exactly.
all be pristine.
Exactly.
Heck,
With
I
all
should
the with
drive
all the
over a
abatements that
pothole.
they're getting. And those by those abatements being like 5 and 10 years, or better sometimes, they should be contributing to the city in that same amount of time. Thank you, Miss Lily.
Yeah.
I agree. There needs to be something in place or a renegotiation of abatements
It definitely needs
to
to be a renegotiation of abatements, because if you only gave abatements just to get them here, there it should be quid pro quo. What did we get? I'm just saying.
besides sickness and disease.
Exactly.
Hey man.
So that should be the agenda of the upcoming council. That should be a part of the agenda to renegotiate that.
Who's gonna bring that up? Who's gonna talk about it? Who's
So
who?
when there's a forum, then we have the
Right.
opportunity to put it on their
To
mind.
ask these questions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think it needs to be put on the table. And,
Absolutely.
and then allow us to hear the ideas. And then again, don't expect our elected to know everything. Bring
Right.
it to them. Bring it to their attention.
At least it's on their mind then,
Yes.
so that as they act on our behalf. Well, they should be, you know,
Right.
as they
Right.
act on. And I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. Stephen Hope alive. You know, I'm gonna say as they're acting on our behalf, then they can keep that in mind as they're negotiating those types of contracts.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Keeping hope
I think
alive.
I think that's beneficial not only to, a dying community, but our infrastructure as well. It will. It, I think it should bolster the proposed bond.
Uh-oh. Did I lose y'all?
Yep, it's saying minority Republicans fully endorses, and
Wait
it's
a
got
minute.
some
Wait a
folks
minute.
up there.
Where are
Now,
y'all?
who did that?
I was doing something behind the scene and this popped up. Wait a
Who are
minute.
these minority Republicans?
Wait a minute. Where are you? Where is
Tony,
everybody?
did you really do that? Get that off of there.
I'm trying to get it off now. I'm trying to what I did. Hold on. Get y'all back on the screen. Wait a minute.
I can tell you right now, it's gonna have a point of order.
Okay, there y'all go.
You took my host off.
Now I didn't take your host off.
He
Ooh, that,
dropped out.
that scared me. I was behind the scene working on some stuff and someone sent this to me and I pressed the wrong button
Don't
and
touch the button. Don't touch the
wait
button.
a minute. Let me get your host back on here. Sorry. I'm sorry, Chris.
Ah,
I'm sorry, man. I don't know what's going on.
don't touch the
I was
button.
like, what happened?
I don't know. Someone emailed me something and it pissed me off. And I was
Don't touch the button.
it pissed me off. And I was getting ready to move it and I accidentally moved it to the broadcast. So oh wow. Man, that's something.
Got to be more
I,
careful.
I'm
Well,
glad
I'm
you said
I'm
something.
glad you're still learning.
I'm glad Kat said something because I thought I had lost audio. Wow. But anyway, uh, whew. But anyway, uh,
I'm gonna need you to recognize Dr. Cat here.
Dr. Cat,
Doctor,
uh,
Dr.
Dr.
Campbell.
Cat, Dr. Cat. Why is this? Why it says on your tag here, Catherine? Where's
Oh,
Cause
we're
Doctor?
that's
gonna
what you
change
put.
that.
You're
Cause
gonna have
that's
to
what you
change
put.
that. You change Dr. Catherine Campbell.
That's what we're gonna have. We're gonna have that doc on there
Anyway,
in a little bit.
now we're going to the third. Almost
What's that?
election. Let's get Mike. Hey, if you don't get your better mic so that you won't have this echo, it's gonna be me and you on this show. I ain't gonna come in. I usually don't come on this show, but I just feel like being on this show tonight because I've been fired up since my show on last Sunday. And now that you're going to the topic that I want to talk about, and that is the Beaumont election is heating up. Now turn that mic off because I hear some echo. All right, now it's much better. Now we're talking. Now let me get back to what I was doing here. Now we're talking about this. What you're talking about? Number 3, Beaumont City election is heating up. Why? Why is it heating up? Tell me, it should be heating up. But before we talk about that, this is what pissed me off. I want to show this. I want to show this on the screen here because this has really pissed me off. And I accidentally put every. There we go. I got y'all. I ain't lost you there. Let me put you over here. There we go. This right here, I'm gonna bring that on the screen. That was pissed me off. That right there. Y'all see that, fellas? Y'all see that? Y'all see that, guys? Your mic is off.
I can't see it good. Can you make it bigger?
I want to know what year they talking about.
They talked about. Are you seeing what's on the screen?
Yeah, I
I
want to
can't
know
see it good.
when
Can
they
you make
saying
it
Beaumont was
bigger?
great. What
Let me
year?
see if I can make it bigger. Yeah, I can make it bigger. Can you see it now? Hello?
I can see it.
You can see it.
Yep.
Yeah.
As
What
big
Dr.
as they can't miss it.
What Dr. Catherine, Dr. Campbell. Can you see it, Dr.
I
Campbell?
I can see it. I can see it.
Now, what I'm saying to you, if they can, if the red hats can come together and knowing what they want to do, then why in the hell can't we get together and be strong about it and
Oh,
stand
please let me answer that. Let me answer that
behind
because
our
I'm sick of
candidates?
I'm so
I'm
sick
going
of
to take it
hearing
off the screen
this.
because I don't want to get nobody confused. I'm going to take it off the screen, but I'm just letting you know how far behind we are. Okay, how far behind we are. We're talking about right here. You see that circle here underneath here? This guy
Uh-uh.
is a MAGA candidate. Now, this guy here, I
I don't
can't,
see the circle.
I can't circle it. I don't know why it's not circling. I run my mouth around it, but y'all understand what I'm trying to say. Now, this
Yeah.
guy here, I'm not, I can't do this Ward One, but I rather this guy, the best, the evil, this better than the evil before the evil. You know, I rather this guy than the other guy. Yeah, you know this guy.
You know what, Tony? The underlying thing is that we always forget,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously they've forgotten as well.
Mm-hmm.
Is it doesn't matter whether they're Democrat or Republican.
Yeah.
They whoever gets in the seat will represent everybody.
Right.
Everybody.
Exactly.
I don't think
But
they
you
know that.
know, but like
I
I
don't think
said,
that's what I said.
but
That.
but
I think everybody always forgets. I did preface with that, Dustin.
what you know, my biggest deal is that, and I talked about this on my last podcast. I've been here. I'm 69 years old. I was born in 55. I may not look it, but I was born in 55. I was born in segregation.
Don't do
I was,
John.
I was born in segregation. I was born in segregation. I walked to town. I caught the bus. I got in the back of the bus. I drank that our water fountain, the color water fountain. I I I I, I went to a segregated school. I knew what day to go to the fair. I mean, I was born. But I'm so blessed that I saw segregation and integration.
Yeah, I
Okay,
do too.
I'm really blessed. I saw both. I witnessed both.
That's right.
And like I tell people my age now, we the old folks now. We the old people now. We must start educating
That's right.
our children about our Black African American history and culture and heritages because they don't know what our elders had to go through to get where you are today. And and the red hats are trying to take that back, take us back to 1955. Am I lying?
Not at all, because I'm a witness
Come on,
of
come
it
on,
as
come on.
well.
Give me some feedback. Am I lying?
Oh yeah, my
They're
mic is
trying to take us back. That's what make America great again means. We're gonna make it back where we used to be again. Come on, come on.
the little babies can't speak to that, but I
Yeah, like
definitely
Dustin, he
remember
wouldn't know. He
all
wouldn't.
of that.
Yeah,
What?
I said Dustin, little baby, he don't know nothing about that. But
I'm
this is what
40.
I'm
I'll be
saying. And
dead
then let
before
me
you
get
do
back to what I was. Let me bring it back to what I was really talking about when we talk about item 3, election. They have been telling these lies and promises us since I was a baby. I remember they would come to our house, sit at our table because my family would go by and support them, and they didn't do nothing for us.
I can't hear you,
They
Tony.
kept
You
their
might got
promise.
to go ahead.
I said we had people to tell us lies and false promises and false hope for 60, 70, 80, 90 years. 100, I go back 100 years. Right here in this town, right here, Beaumont, Texas. They go to our churches only when it's time for election. Oh, you got your hand written there, but I'm about to get started again. They tell us what they want us to hear, and the old preacher back there was supportive. Oh, just stand up and say what you want to say. But what are you doing for us when it's time to make that decision? And I'm gonna go back to that decision they made when it was time for them to hire a Beaumont chief of police. Didn't they show you their real colors when it came down to what they want?
They did, but this is the
All
thing.
non-melanated piece of it. Yes.
This is the thing. But I guess like what
I'm not.
we're
I'm not. We. I'm just telling it like it is. I'm
I feel
so
you on
sick and
that.
tired. Let me tell you something. The black
But
community,
one of the things you
the grown
said,
folks in this black community right now can't get together as a group to come together as a
who
group.
you said,
They
who you
can't
said,
because they don't want to. They won't get off. The ones that the leaders that they need can't be leaders because the old leaders will not get off the stage.
and there you have it.
And
That's why
they won't get
it's
off the stage.
perceived.
They want to control.
Well, that's why it's perceived that black community. Somebody needs to mute. I hear feedback.
You got
That's
leaders.
why for us,
How can you get young people to come on board and
we are
help
not going to affiliate
with
with
more of an
y'all,
innovation
bro.
mindset, a
Y'all don't
vision?
have look. One of the things you said, Tony, why is it that we don't stick together? Especially when you put that picture up there. We stick together. It's in pockets that we stick together, right? And what we have not understood that is in those pockets, those individuals in those particular pockets and groups are doing the work of their pocket, right? We're not I can't be fingers to toes. You got to play your part, right? I can't be lips to an eye to eyelids. That's not how that go, right? And so what we have to identify within our communities and not one community, because we are a multifaceted people. We are not, hear me and hear me well, a monolith at all. Although we see, or better yet, although y'all have seen, you all, especially 70s and 66, well, let's 55 and older, have seen some of these things. But one of the my favorite things Miss Cat say is y'all ain't reached back.
No,
How many of y'all are reaching back? Just like you said, Tony, how there's old people that don't want to get off the spot. But them old people ain't raised no new folk to get in the spot.
thank
They're
you.
disengaged
That's
from
right.
younger individuals till it's ridiculous out here.
That's
It,
right.
to a point to where our youth have nobody to follow
That's correct.
because those individuals that we perceive as leaders are not. So don't throw those bad apples back over here. Keep that in y'all pocket of bad apples. And when you notice that the younger generation is actually moving forward and pulling y'all old tails with us, then you're gonna understand, well, we should have backed out at least 20 years ago, or we
Yes,
should have sat down at least 30 years ago, or we should be grooming somebody currently. And that's not happening in our communities,
that's right.
especially from our elders.
That's right.
It's not happening. As a aspiring politician, how many individuals reached out to me and poured into me policy or politics? Nobody. I had to go get that on my own. Same
See,
goes for many
you see,
other individuals in our community, especially when it comes to entrepreneurship or other businesses. Y'all not reaching out to us.
I was brought under the Sammy Deans and the Sonny and Jeannie Perkins and the Shashawn and I mean, those guys, man, was people, Vic LeBlanc, and I mean, those guys were pillars in the community that was a fight for where we had something to fight for, and so that's why I have so much um, energy about doing something about this city. And I don't think I will ever run again for office here in the city of Beaumont again. But I tell you what, I'm going to be a force if I have to. This is
Never
this
say
is
never,
this is a
Tony.
force. I don't think that I can be in a group because there's no leadership that know how to lead, and there's so many those that want positions to be in control of the group, instead of making an effort to lead a group. It takes workers. It takes workers to organize, to work in these groups. You got to work, not just have a position to say, I am the president. I am the chair of this group. I am vice chair. You're gonna have to have. You're gonna have to have workers. You got to work. You got to have that. You got to set an example as a leader, so folks can follow you because that's more followers than leaders. I said enough, and I think our time is up. I know you heard the music playing, but
I did.
I
I
appreciate you
did.
guys again. I'm sorry I got into y'all group tonight,
Hey man,
but I
you
just
know
come
you
in
always welcome on at the table, man. Just make
and
sure
but I
that
come in and
the
I
drink
just
we
enjoy
have is
those so I
not
can hear
red.
this chat. I didn't fall asleep on y'all tonight.
Just make sure the drink we have that you bring to the table is not red, Tony. We don't want nothing red.
Don't get me talking about that red soda. Don't get me talking about the red soda. Now, matter of fact, let me just say this: we have
I
a
needed you to say it.
we have a mayor election coming up, a city council coming up, and I want folks to know that the host of Roundtable Talk is running as a candidate for mayor, Chris Jones. And if I
Thank
hadn't
you.
said it, I'm saying it now. We've also have also an African American female who was once a mayor. Robin Mouton is running to be re-elected for mayor as well. And so, people, I'm just trying to say, we've got two qualified people that's running, and
Thank you.
we want their support. Uh, and if you want to if y'all want to get ahead, we want to get ahead. Y'all talk about getting ahead.
Well, you can't mention them without mentioning the at larges that are running as well. We have two at larges that are running on our behalf as well.
Right. We do have two at large. We have Albert Turner, AJ Turner, and we have Baldwin Sanders that is running at large. Uh, Again, I mean, some people are not happy with some not happy with the other, but I'm okay.
Also,
I'm straightforward.
yes.
I'm gonna be
Also, pay
straightforward.
attention. We do have school
I'm gonna
board
be
elections as
straightforward.
well.
But
We
this
do
is
have school board elections as
let's
well
put
that's
it to the
coming up.
side because this is an opportunity for us to get the majority of council.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we gotta do some of our own mess and swallow it. But it's workable. Also, we have Chris Duro running in Ward 3, and we have two candidates running in Ward 3. That is Terry Roy and Donna
Sure
Sherwood.
would.
Sherwood. All right, well, make sure you talk to Donna Sherwood. I know she called. She said, "You ain't get my name right." Anyway, but anyway, people, these are the people that was running that's
We also have school board.
oh yeah, well tell me about
We got school board elections as well. I know two individuals that I'm supporting, and I'm, of course there's more in the race, but I'm sort of kind of like you, Tony. I'm only focused on those that I feel I have access to and through, and the community is also feeling the same. In
But they're
district,
all going to represent us all.
exactly,
No.
exactly. In District
And they're
3,
working for us, so we need to stay in contact with them.
right,
Constant
right,
contact.
That's right.
right. Um, I know Mrs. Treva Johnson is running for school district. Yolanda Nan Avery is also running for school district. Um, Mrs. Pollard, I
Hey,
want to say,
Chris,
a
Chris,
Poulard.
Chris, your microphone is acting up again.
Okay, so Miss Poulard is also running for office. I'm not sure who else
Who is Miss
is on the
Poulard?
Pollard.
Who is that?
It's a She ran for, I want to say she ran for school board once before. She ran at large.
Is that going to be Michelle? I'm just
I'm gonna have to
asking.
go back and I'm gonna have to wait till the sample ballot come out so I can go down
Well,
all the way through it.
help me get together and bring them on onto the podcast. We can do them on Tuesday. You can do it also on my show on Sunday. So let's get this done before early voting. I want to get the candidates on here so they can express their views, and we can question them and ask questions and find out
You
what
want them on the round table talk?
we can have on round table and my show. I just want to make sure we get them because it's more candidates than the shows I do per week. So
Correct.
but
Okay,
I
so
don't
we can
think-
split
I
them
don't
up.
I don't think you can be the host of your own show.
Right. But you
That's-
know, I know how to wear my hat.
Right,
I know how to wear my hats, fam.
that's a conflict of interest. But
For
I
them.
will host it. Or Miss Dr. Catherine Campbell.
I was about to say, I got
Harris
co-hosts.
can host it.
Yes.
Yeah, but you can't.
Man.
Sure.
All right.
Miss Cat, before we wrap up, if you don't mind giving us something that'll take us on throughout the week, and then we'll go with you, Dustin, you follow her, and then Tony, you wrap us up.
I just want to reiterate, remember your representation and stay in constant contact with them. As long as we're in contact with them, then they can hear our voice because they are all representing us, regardless of where they are, who they are, or where they are. And voting is definitely important. So get all of your people out to vote because it matters how you live, where you live. Thank you. Y'all have a good evening.
Dustin, you got the floor.
Well, y'all go ahead and check my page because I put a bunch of about 4 videos with the maps of each ward because people think from the sample ballot they vote for everybody. You ain't vote for everybody. You vote for whoever in your ward.
Right.
Now the mayor, you can vote for that. At large, you could get that vote too. But when it comes down to just who's in charge of the ward, whatever you stay, that's who you vote for. Well, wherever your ID say you at, that's who you vote for.
Let me iterate on something that it confuses people, but it's a mist because it has been told so many times. Remember, people, in this election coming, that is the at-large candidate seat for city council, you get 2 votes. 2 votes, people. 2 votes, people. Not one. That one gonna cancel the other one. You're gonna vote for 2 candidates for that large.
I want to
50
say
shot of getting who you want.
absolutely. I want to say for the rest of the week, and I appreciate everybody's final comments. I do want to say, stay prayed up,
Amen.
and make sure that you are found in the right place, because things is about to pop off. That's it. Y'all have a good night. See y'all next Tuesday.
Folks, you have just watched the Roundtable Talk Show with Chris Jones, host, Dustin Harris, co-host, and Dr. Catherine Campbell as a co-host. Roundtable Talk, and they are on every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Check us out next Tuesday. And also, you can check my show out, the Nonsense Power Podcast. I'm on every Sunday at 7 p.m. We see you then. May God bless you. Love you. Goodbye.
God bless.